Because, yeah, now we're live.
Awesome. Hey everyone, this is SirWolfBane and welcome to Game Talk, and I'm joined by
Gary G from Gary G Reviews and Gary G Gaming. Thank you very much for having me, Vince.
very, very welcome to have you here. I will be leaving a link, of course, to the channels below when this video is uploaded. So I just thought that maybe we could just get on a hangout and let's talk some games. That's what we love.
Yeah, absolutely. Games, gaming, and all that.
I thought, we can, as you said before we started, we should start with some Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, Assassin's Creed, awesome. So, are you excited about the new game?
I am. To be honest, for a while, I was starting to really get out of Assassin's Creed because the yearly releases, I felt like it was just starting to drain and all this. I haven't still not played Unity. I do plan on playing that eventually, but with a Syndicate, from everything I've seen, it just looks like so much fun. It's going back to the whole it's a single player only game, which is good. I don't mind that because my favorite game in the series is Assassin's Creed 2. So get that good single player experience again. Of course, you get the two characters. Finally get a female in a proper Assassin's Creed game, not the Liberation.
Yeah, not the DLC.
It's looking really good. It is looking really good. I'm actually really excited for this one.
Awesome. Yeah, well, I wasn't so excited, but I kind of got into it watching the recent gameplay videos and all that. It looks interesting. I'm always not so happy about the graphics because they always look the same engine, the same edges, and it's still kind of not cartoony, but cartoony. I mean, like a cartoon box. It still has that feel to it, not so much like substance. I mean, it doesn't have so much substance. Everyone are moving like robots on the streets, and yeah, I think that they really should change that because it's next gen and still doesn't look anything like next gen to me, except some textures. When you play Unity, you see what I mean. Of course, if you play it on the next gen, so you can see the new textures and all that, but it still looks very like hollow. Everyone look like they're only made from the inside. It doesn't feel like something with the substance, you know.
I mean, from what I've seen of Unity, I see that there is a lot of NPCs on the screen at one time, which is impressive. But it's again, you want quality over quantity. I'd like better designed NPCs rather than a lot of them. So
yeah. They really should work on that because it's absolutely the same thing every time.
Absolutely. But yeah, can't wait to see what they bring next year. But until then, gonna see Syndicate, and we're gonna have a bit more modern day. We got guns that actually fire more than one bullet at a time, so that'll be fun.
That's nice, although I really don't like when the game goes in more present times. I prefer the old stuff with swords and all that. But yeah, the next game, if my sources are right, is going to be like in Egypt, as you know. So I'm a lot more excited about this because Egypt is my dream, like to play in Egypt in third person. Some games, Assassin's Creed, will be perfect for that. So I'm super excited for next game.
Absolutely, especially if it's. I'm guessing if it's set in Egypt, it should be set in the time of the pharaohs. I'm guessing. Otherwise, it'll just be a bit weird if it's set like.
Yeah, it's going to be like The Mummy, the movie.
I mean, that's an absolute possibility. It could be set back in World War II era in Egypt, so you get all the ruins and you get the modern day weapons. But I do hope they go back to the age of the pharaoh, and you got the mummies and all this.
Yeah, awesome. You get to assassinate like Ramses or something.
Yes. You get to assassinate Imhotep, and that would just be amazing. But Also, like with the older Assassin's Creed games, you always had that one awesome structure you could climb. Like I remember climbing the Colosseum in Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. That was a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, totally remember that.
Assassin's Creed One, you had that massive cathedral. That was awesome. Uh, Three
Yeah.
had a very large mountain
Mountain. I
in
can't
the
remember.
in the open in the forest area. You had these mountains and trees, and there was no real
Ah.
there was no real big structures in Assassin's Creed 3. It was mainly the forest running mechanic.
Oh yeah, I totally forgot about that. Yeah, of course. The forest between the branches and all that. Yeah, I totally enjoy that because I love how he was half Indian. I mean, Native American, half British guy. So totally love that, and the fighting is as you remember, I told you about this is my favorite in Assassin's Creed 3 because you get to kill a ton of people.
The combat in Assassin's Creed 3 was just so much fun to watch. Just you would again, some of the best times is there's certain areas in like Boston that enemies always spawn, and you would eventually have this sea of dead guys just all around you because nothing can touch you. Well, if you master the combat, you're just unstoppable.
Absolutely, yeah, that was my favorite part of it. Like you go on the street, and you don't want to run anymore. So I'm like, what the hell? Now I'm going to kick your ass. Yeah, it's just like pile of bodies.
Just out of curiosity, did you ever play the Assassin's Creed 3 DLC, The Tyranny of King Washington?
Yeah, when you get to kill him, I think.
Because I never played the DLC. It's something I do want to play. Is it good?
Yeah, but I think it was very brief, as far as I can remember. Super brief is like one mission, and it's super brief. You don't get a lot of content for that. You just have to find him, defeat him. That's pretty much as far as I remember.
Can you actually wear the Assassin's Creed robe, or do you need to wear the Native American outfit?
Well, they are kind of intertwined. I mean, yeah, I think you can change your clothes if you find like out there's clothes and all that, but I think that I played with him naked at one time. Like a dog or something around his waist, and he was naked. And before that, I was like fully clothed with the Native American and Assassin's Creed uniform. Yeah, so I kind of have lost of memory now because it was kind of before several years actually now.
Yeah,
I don't remember.
3 years ago now. Hard to believe it's that old.
Oh yeah, so I totally forgot some of the things now.
And now, we're getting to the fourth game since Assassin's Creed 3, so it's been quite a while. However, there's also a lot of people do want Assassin's Creed to finally go to feudal Japan.
That's interesting. I never thought of that.
Would you like to see the assassins go up against the samurai or something like that?
I don't know. It's kind of out of the Assassin's Creed vibe, you can say. But maybe it's going to be super awesome, but I just can't see it right now when I try to imagine it.
I personally would love to see the assassins go up against the ninjas in China.
A guy with a hood fighting ninjas. Going to be interesting.
I thought that would be pretty awesome. Both of these are stealth figures going up together.
Well, as long as the game is good, I don't have any objections. It just has to have some kind of a story substance to it because Unity is just, a crappy game. I mean, with a terrible, stupid story. So, yeah, it's very disappointing.
However, actually have a theory about Assassin's Creed. I believe that Assassin's Creed 3 was not originally meant to be what it ended up being. I think it was actually meant to be set in the modern day. And it was meant to be around Desmond's story, and it's set in the modern day. And I think that originally that turned into Watch Dogs. That's what I believe.
That's interesting theory.
Because
maybe it's true.
I think it's very early on in development. They said, okay, we're going to make sure the third one is Desmond's story, but then we're like, oh no, we're going to stick with the robes and all that and go back in time. But they had this like hacking idea, like say, oh, the assassins use technology in modern day, and they kept that and they brought it up into Watch Dogs. So that's what I think happened anyway.
Yeah, it's totally possible because in Ubisoft, as far as I hear, is a big pile of mess, and they don't have very good organization. So yeah, everything is possible, but that will be terrible if it was true as a game. I definitely would not be a fan of that game.
Well, there's always the big theory that Watch Dogs is actually part. Well, it's pretty much proven that Watch Dogs is part of the Assassin's Creed universe.
Maybe. I actually never heard of that, but everything is possible.
There is a character, I do believe it's in modern day Black Flag. There is the head in the modern day storyline when you're playing the faceless person that walks around the office. Your boss actually needs to go somewhere in Chicago, and he becomes a missing person. In Watch Dogs, you actually kill him.
That's so interesting.
It's got his name and everything, so it's because he goes missing in AC4, but then in Watch Dogs he gets killed by Aiden Pierce.
That's totally possible. Absolutely. If you think about it, it makes sense. And why to not do that? I mean, it's only logical. They could always make it like a shared universe. Yeah, cool.
Also with Far Cry. With Far Cry 3, there was the DLC where you went through this underground old base and it had the Abstergo symbol everywhere around it.
Maybe. I haven't played that, actually.
Speaking of Far Cry, have you seen the trailer to Far Cry Primal?
Oh yeah, haven't I wrote you a comment about this on your under your video?
So now I've got you face to face. What else? Are you looking forward to it? Are you like really looking forward to it?
Oh yeah, totally. Actually, I forgot to respond to that. I meant to write you a comment about that, but I totally forgot. Actually, sorry about that.
No worries.
Because you said, I said that it's I wanted to be like in third person, I mean, to have that option, and you said that this is going to be it is going to make the game like every other game from Ubisoft, and I wanted to reply to that and I forgot. Yes, sorry about that. So yeah, I'm going to reply to you now. So about that, you totally have a point there, but just for me, I will pretty much enjoy just like as an option. I know that it's going to get similar to the other games and is no longer be like Far Cry, but with this setting prehistoric and all that, is already doesn't look like Far Cry to me at all. So adding just this function for me at least is going to be great.
With Far Cry, it's very hard to say what it is because they don't have any chronological joining. Like, for example, you don't need to play Far Cry 2 to play Far Cry 3. They just all have this like balance of it's an open world and you do it your way. Yeah,
you're right about that as well. And in Far Cry Blood Dragon, also it doesn't look anything like Far Cry, but I hear that is a very good game. I haven't tried it yet, but people say that it's awesome.
I've tried it out, and again, it has the Far Cry feel, the open world, do it your way. It's a very fun game, by the way. It's very fun. I haven't finished it, but it's got that old '80s feel to it, old '80s action film feel to it. It's a very fun game.
Aha. Okay. So yeah.
But
Yeah.
even
Interesting.
if you go back to Far Cry 1, it's a lot different again because you get feral powers. You get these like powers of being a monster. You can charge people and rip them apart. Basically, it's just got it's just quite amazing how different the Far Cry games can be. But they've all got that feeling of being connected.
Maybe because of the gameplay, of the style, how you handle everything, weapons, the map, as you said, open world and all that. Maybe because of that. Yeah. So yeah, in that thought of, of that train of thought, we can consider the new Far Cry just another Far Cry without like thinking that it's going in a two different direction, because it looks like Far Cry could go in any direction and it's still going to be Far Cry. So yeah, you brought up a very good point actually here.
I mean, like if they turn it into this sort of linear thing, then that wouldn't be Far Cry. But I love the feel that you do things your way. Like if you want to take out a mammoth, I'm going to guess you're going to have different ways you can do it. You can use traps. You could probably just go in with, I'd say guns blazing, but there are no guns, so it's going to be spears blazing.
Yeah.
And it looks like you can go in with a group and take down these mammoths. You can fight saber-tooths, and of course you're going to fight other tribes. I'm guessing some elements from the Far Cry 3 and 4 will probably be in it, especially when it comes to stealth. I reckon stealth is going to be a big part of it now. With the whole you can get up behind someone, stab them, and then you can throw a knife at someone else. I think that's pretty cool. In the Far Cry games, I reckon that will definitely make a return.
Definitely, especially crouching in the grass and stalking somebody, like an animal or a person. Are you definitely going to hunt for skins and all that, so you can craft more like bows, arrows, clothes? I think that's going to be a big part of the game. It's only logical.
Oh yeah, and of course it's very unique to see a game in this setting. Like back in the day when hunting mammoths and all this, we don't really get that, to be honest. Not a lot of games have mammoths in it.
I can't actually name a game that has mammoths right now.
Well, there's Skyrim, but that doesn't really count.
Oh yeah, it doesn't count.
Yeah, this is set in real life.
Yeah, it's like a fictional universe. And you know that PlayStation game that is going to come out kind of has mammoths, and it's the most similar to Far Cry right now. The only difference is that it's going to be a third person, and the animals are going to be like robots, bionic robots or something.
That game really does look good. I'm very jealous that that PlayStation's getting that. But it's made by the same people as Killzone, so it's definitely not going to be coming to Xbox.
Yeah, only Sony, definitely. Although Killzone, I still haven't been able to go through the game. I mean, to finish it yet. It's good, but I lack kind of the drive yet to play it. I'm more attracted towards even The Last of Us, to play again The Last of Us, more than I am to Killzone for some reason.
Oh yeah,
and even Infamous.
with first-person shooters, like I'm not so hot on them. Like they need to be very interesting again, like Far Cry. But yeah, when it comes to that, I'd rather go again with something like The Last of Us or Infamous, even though I've never played them before. They look fun, especially Infamous. The whole superpowers in the world reminds me of Prototype.
Yeah, absolutely. Like Prototype, just with a better story. You know better what you're doing, where the story is going. It's easier to go with the story because there are some games that you are playing them, and all of a sudden you just lost track of what was really going on, and you just go with it.
That's
It's
Prototype
not
for you.
it's not explained that well, but in this game, you know full well what you're doing and what is the goal and all that. But when I have to compare it with The Last of Us, it's like here, and The Last of Us is like here. I mean, The Last of Us is just a masterpiece. You can't get enough of it. And Infamous is just like for fun. It could hold your attention, but not in the same way like The Last of Us, because I'm not a person that replays games. And this is the first time that I catch myself that I want to play something that I already played again. And the multiplayer, I get to try the multiplayer for the first time. And it's very, very fun. Because it's like in the third person again, you have different weapons. It's almost like the single player, but in the multiplayer setting. And you get even to punch people when you get very close. It's very interesting. Unique experience, definitely.
I've never actually got to. Oh, hold on. Oh, I've got questions. I've got questions.
Oh,
Will,
awesome.
will Far Cry Primal have a villain as good as Vaas or Pagan Ming? That would be very hard because from the trailer, they're not speaking English, so it'll probably be in subtitles, and it'll be very hard. It'll be very hard to imagine it'll be as a memorable villain. I'm guessing they'll probably do a very visual villain for Far Cry Primal. He's probably going to be like got half his face ripped off or something. Something that's very memorable visually, rather than having the vocals, the vocal work, such as Vaas or Pagan Ming. But again, I don't know. It'll be very interesting to see what happens with Far Cry Primal. So that was from Gong Holo Media.
It's basically going to be some guy that is going to yell a lot, maybe.
And he's probably gonna have like a saber-toothed skull on his head, and he's just gonna
Yeah.
and,
Boogie
like,
boogie. Boogie
but
boogie boogie.
scars all over him, and yeah, that's what I reckon. But again, we barely know anything about the game.
Yeah, barely.
Yeah. Anyway, back to was it Infamous?
Yeah, Infamous Second Son.
Unfortunately, I've only ever tried out Infamous 1, which I enjoyed what I played of it. Infamous Second Son, I've heard that people were not a fan of the main character, but the gameplay was great.
Well, he's like a, regular tattooed punk guy. Nothing so interesting, but I have nothing against him. I mean, he's different at least. The last guy was just like more cliche of a hero, but this one is kind of different. I really don't mind. I mean, the powers is what is all about in this game, and how you move, and to take down a villain that is a woman and she's very bad. She has some powers that are very hard to get through. So you have to get those powers for yourself so you can beat her and all that, because she's threatening all those people that have powers. So it's like any script from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or anything else,
That's
basically.
very nice, very nice. So are there any games that are PlayStation exclusive that you're really looking forward to? Or something you hope to see that's going to be a PlayStation exclusive, like a resurrection of a game that's been not made for a long time?
Well, on the top of my mind, of course, is Uncharted. That's number one always. Nothing better than Uncharted. And yeah, after that, maybe God of War. Yeah, I'm totally looking for God of War. I heard that they are making a new game, but there's no real information when exactly that's going to be out. So God of War is one of the best exclusives.
Oh, okay, so the classics, Uncharted and God of War, the two probably flagships of PlayStation exclusives, I do believe.
Yeah, absolutely. And The Last of Us also will have a sequel, so but knowing Naughty Dog, they always take their time doing games, so it's going to be like another 2 or 3 years. We
Mm.
are all going to get old by then. So yeah,
I'm still waiting for Uncharted Team Racing.
what's that?
Because if you look back at Naughty Dog past, with Crash Bandicoot, they do Crash Bandicoot, Crash Bandicoot 2, Crash Bandicoot 3, then Crash Team Racing. Then we go to Jak and Daxter, Jak 2, Jak 3, and then Jak Racing.
Yeah.
And now we just need Nathan Drake Racing.
Yeah, that is going to be very interesting. But I actually watched the video like yesterday in IGN, or I can't remember what channel exactly it was it. And the developer of Naughty Dog talked about how they tried to transition from making those kind of a cartoony games to making more realistic kind of games. And they had no people really that can do that, so they hired new people. They started to create the idea of it, and it was very interesting creative process. And they really did something that was never they never did before, and that some of the things are really never done before Uncharted 1. So it's an awesome story. Like studio that had almost no experience with, and no experience with a serious game did one of the best games and franchises ever. So that's awesome. Ubisoft should take notes.
Absolutely. But do you think that you'd like to see a return to maybe Jak and Daxter, which is my personal favorite games from the PlayStation 2 eras?
Well, I only played like Crash Bandicoot for a bit, and that was that. So I have no idea about the other game.
I recommend, if you can get the HD trilogy, you should definitely grab it. It's such an amazing series.
Yeah, I'm sure they did a great job.
Not quite as technically amazing as Uncharted, but still, Jak is just an awesome character, and one of the few times I'll definitely give PlayStation a thumbs up.
Okay, if you get, I mean, where you hopefully you'll get PS4 someday. You're totally going to see how awesome is Uncharted. Just can't wait for that to see like your reaction and all that.
I'm an Xbox person. I love my Gears of War and Halo.
No, yeah, I mean you can be both, like I was on 360 and PS3. It's awesome to have both. So. Yeah.
But like I said, I always get the name mixed up. Horizon Zero Dawn, is it?
Yeah, Horizon Zero Dawn, I think it was.
That game is definitely a system seller for me. That looks incredible. Also, Until Dawn looked really good. Uncharted 4, the gameplay I felt looked really good. What I saw at E3.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I play Xbox, but I did watch the Sony E3, and it really did blow me away.
Oh yeah, they go into amazing lengths just to make the tinier detail. I mean, Naughty Dog. So you're going to be amazed by absolutely everything. I'm sure of it. They just so talented. Pay attention to absolutely everything that is happening. So yeah. I'm going to be like with the controller and constantly watching like this when I'm playing. It's going to be so awesome. Then God of War as well is going to be, yeah, I imagine awesome. Although Santa Monica Studios are really not that good.
Oh, okay.
They're not like Naughty Dog.
Naughty Dog's definitely been a AAA developer for a very long time. Ever since the PlayStation days, they've really never made a bad game as far as I'm concerned.
Absolutely, and if Sam gets the system like next week, he's going to get the Uncharted trilogy. So it's going to be very interesting. He with a PS4 and playing Uncharted, awesome! Can't wait.
I mean, I myself, I would like to get a PlayStation 3. I know a lot of people go, why are you getting a PlayStation 3? It's just so I could buy the old PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2 games on the PlayStation Store, because I'm not really a fan of the whole renting on PlayStation 4.
Yeah, because you want to have the physical copies, right?
Yeah, basically.
Okay, but if you're going to get PS3, at least get the newer version. I mean, the super slim.
Yeah, I wouldn't get like one of the old ones. I'd get definitely one that will last for a long time. Just like my Xbox 360, it's a 500 gig newest model you can get, so it's gonna have to last me a long time.
Yeah, although the fat ones really got they heat. I mean, they produce lots of heat, and I think they have some problems like with the discs. But yeah, whatever you can get. But they also, I think you can play PlayStation 2 games on them as well. There's a backwards compatibility, but with the new ones, there's not.
Awesome. Got some more questions.
Oh,
From
awesome.
Gone Hollow Media from Sean. Hold on, I'm just gonna. Okay. Thoughts on Alan Wake? This is an Xbox question. Thoughts on Alan Wake? If you have played, do you want a sequel? I love Alan Wake. It's probably one of the best games on the Xbox 360. Of course, it's the psychiatric horror game that I love.
Yeah, I know it. I've played it on the PC actually.
What did you think of it?
Well, I liked it, but I'm not so much of a horror fan, so it was super creepy walking around the woods, and all of a sudden some guy is coming, and you try to flash your flashlight and shoot him and all that. It was kind of nerve-wracking, but I couldn't finish it. I was very, very close.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I absolutely loved it. It was probably when I started getting into horror games, I bought Alan Wake. Great story. Again, when you're in the forest, when it's so dark, you think you see people running around you, but it's really just a bush.
Yeah.
That's the sign of good horror, when it gets you freaked out by a bush.
Yeah, I remember that.
It got sort of a sequel with American Nightmare, but I wouldn't call that a massive sequel. It doesn't sound like there's going to be a sequel because Remedy is working on Quantum Break, which looks good. Xbox One game.
Yeah, I saw it. I know it, yeah.
Very interested to play that, but I would like to see an Alan Wake sequel one day. It definitely deserves one. Okay.
It has a lot of potential, I think, for a lot more interesting stuff. Open world setting, maybe in horror game. It sounds really like awesome and with a lot of possibilities, because like Until Dawn is very scripted. It's super scary, and but it's always so scripted, and it's not even in third person all the time. Like you see your characters from the side. Not a fan of that. I know that it's bringing something to the atmosphere, but we prefer to be in control all the time.
I will say what I've seen of Until Dawn, I actually like what I saw. And I know it's very, very linear, and it's got that. They try and do that very cinematic feel to it. It's something that I definitely want to try, and I'd like to go through and try and get everyone to live, and then try and go through and just get everyone to die. So it's just.
It's not going to be very hard to make everyone die, basically.
That'll be a lot easier. Trying to get everyone to live will be the hard one. All right, another question. The character of Delson is pretty... Who's Delson? Is that an Uncharted character?
No, I don't think so.
Don't know who that is. It's pretty much just Troy Baker. Laugh out loud. Who's Delson?
I have no idea.
Who is Delson?
Yeah, Delson doesn't ring a bell.
Might have just been a typo or something, so we might find out soon. Okay, but yes, So, oh yes, you probably sort of started off, but Xbox One games, is there any that you think look pretty good that are out or coming out?
Quantum Break. It's not like enough to make me buy the system or something else, but I think that the whole idea is pretty cool. It's like that. Oh, I forgot the name of the game. You know that that game that you're stopping time when you're shooting. What was the title? I just stuck. You know that game in third person, and you're like not a detective. I forgot what it was. It's a very famous franchise. Just
Max
can't
Payne?
think. Yeah, Max Payne. Yeah, it's kind of similar to that, but with a lot more time-stopping effects. You know. So it's interesting to me, but it's not like, oh, this game is so awesome, I'm going to buy an Xbox. Nope, not yet, definitely.
Nothing that makes you just go, oh, I need that system.
No, nothing so special there. So I can't think of any other game. Forza, I've played all the Forzas, I mean, all that were on the 360, and I like them. I never finished them because they are like pretty hard, but my brother finished them. He is real like yeah, he deals with cars and all that, except the movies. I mean, that is his hobby: cars, racing stuff, drifting, and all that. So he's a fan of those games mostly. And yeah, nothing else.
Gears of War or Halo?
Nope. Never liked Halo much.
Oh, fair enough. Fair enough. Oh, here we go. Delson is the main character in Infamous Second Son, played by Troy Baker.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty much just like the actor in real life.
Yeah. Well, I'm not so into that to remember it. So yeah, I actually forgot his name like the first 5 seconds of the game. I'm not so very good with names. With faces, yes, but with names, nope.
Yeah, played by Troy Baker. Troy Baker, who pretty much plays every single male character in games these days.
Oh. I have to see him now. How he really looks like.
I know. I remember seeing the main character from Infamous Second Son. I see it now. He does look like Troy Baker.
You know what's the problem with Until Dawn in most games? I mean, with the graphics of people. The teeth. They always mess that up.
Yeah, mouths don't quite look right. Like, I remember playing LA Noire. I felt like they tried to make it ultra realistic, but the mouths just don't feel right. You know, mouths, teeth, and all that.
Yeah, they look like there's something in their mouth, like artificial teeth, not real teeth, and the mouth just moves around the teeth, but it doesn't look natural. It looks like robotic, like a wax figure trying to speak. You know, they totally messed that up in Until Dawn. It's kind of creepy and realistic. Also, they messed up some of their anatomy, you can say. And their heads, the moving of the heads is very awkward, like in Killzone, actually. In Killzone, many of the enemies, they turn their heads like almost here somewhere.
Very natural.
Very, very natural. It's so creepy. It's like some kind of insect in human form is looking at you. Yeah, so they did the same in Until Dawn, and sometimes when you see their hands, how their hands are made, it's just not logical.
They've got several sort of joints. It's like they've got like 6 bones in their fingers. They're very unnatural looking.
Yeah, especially this part where the hand is connected to the body. It always looks so awkward, and also the shoulders, they're like this most of the time. They're not like this. They're like
There we go.
So they
He
really have
played
to.
Sam Drake in Uncharted 4 too. So we got Troy Baker playing playing Sam Drake, is Sam Drake Nathan Drake's brother?
Uh-huh.
So we've got Troy Baker and Nolan North playing brothers. That's just amazing. The two most worked men that are voice actors in games. He also played Batman. He played the Joker in Batman Arkham Origins. Yeah, he did a good job with that, I reckon. Troy Baker did a good job with Arkham Origins. Speaking of Arkham, what do you think of the Batman games?
Well, they're pretty good Batman games, except the previous one. I mean, not that one now. The present one, the previous one that was made from Warner Brothers Studios, they really messed that up. I kind of stopped playing after the first hour.
Really?
Yeah, I was amazingly bored.
I actually really enjoyed Arkham Origins. I thought it was a very underrated game. What did you not like about it?
Well, I'm not sure exactly. I remember that the fighting wasn't the same. It was more stiff. It wasn't so responsive. And then I got to some mission in some tower with some water. I couldn't get to the inside of the tower or something. And when you drop in water...
I know how you're talking about. You're probably going to try and get the Riddler thing there. That tower could only be on when you get the glue grenade and you throw the glue grenade into the water, so you can go into the tower, I think. But I actually really enjoyed Batman Arkham Origins. I thought it was a very good game. I think Batman has the best suit in Arkham Origins. I think his suit is actually really cool in Arkham Origins.
Maybe I have to try it again. I don't know, but I was kind of frustrated with the controls and the gameplay, and I was like, what kind of a game? I mean, it doesn't let you go into the water for a second. It always has to bring you back and some of those things. I remember that I got to a point where this tower and something else, and I got too frustrated, and I think that the game wasn't optimized, and it played very bad on my PC. It was on my old PC, I think. Yeah, so maybe I have to try it on my new PC, but I still have to go through the new game. So, which is absolutely, it runs better now, but it's totally terrible when you have to fight in the Batmobile. The FPS drop like hell. I mean, it gets to 10, 20, 15. It's unplayable almost.
I find that because of course I can't play the new game. I do want to play the new game, but as much as the Batmobile does look cool, I just think that from everyone saying it's overused way too much. And,
absolutely, yeah, I totally agree.
Which is a shame, because you finally get the Batmobile and they sort of like, well, you got the Batmobile, and now we're going to make up for not putting it in the first 3 games. We're just going to as much as we can.
Absolutely, yeah. They just shove it in your face all the time. This mission you can only play with the Batmobile, and Alfred calls and he's like, "Sir, your new update is ready. Your new upgrade. So you have to install one of these things now." And they show you 2 things. You have to choose what, and then you go to a mission and shoot some guys. They always have the best stuff, and I'm like, I thought that Batman had the best stuff, and you had to figure out how to defeat them, and it's mostly not so difficult. But now I'm at the mission that I have to defeat like one big tank, and it's very, very hard. And the tank can kill you in 2 seconds, exactly in 2 seconds. So it's extremely difficult. You have to stalk it all the time where he's turning, and he's constantly turning and scanning. So it's almost impossible now. And with with that FPS, I mean, it's almost impossible to get past through. So I'm going to try and see what happens. But for now, I'm stuck on that mission.
That's a shame. Gong Hollow Media says Arkham Origins is underrated in his opinion. I agree. Very underrated game. I think a lot of people just hated on it because it was made by a different company. I agree. Still haven't played Arkham Knight. Going to wait for Game of the Year edition. I have not played Arkham Knight as well. Arkham Origins again has an amazing storyline. It's a lot more personal storyline than Arkham City and Arkham Asylum, in my opinion. for Batman. And of course, a lot of people also complain, well, it's an origin story for Batman, yet you're 2 years into it. It's like, it's not actually an origin story for Batman. It's for the Joker. It's for his origins.
That's interesting. Maybe I really have to revisit that when I have time.
Oh, definitely. And they did fix some of the problems and patches. Yeah, it's a very good game, in my opinion, of course. And if you have time, I reckon just another little go. But yeah, I'm gonna be playing through them again. We'll be having fun. I'm gonna try and 100% Arkham Asylum again.
Okay, but I really want to get to be more Batman and not be like in the Batmobile so much. And I think that there was something that they could add to it, but I forgot what it was that I really wanted. Yeah, the Batwing. That's going to be very cool.
Yeah, I reckon that Batman doesn't need. If he wants to take out a tank, he doesn't need his Batmobile. He'll just take out a tank.
Yeah, well, you can look at it in very different points, but yeah, just like as an option, you can fly with that thing and take out somebody that also flies, maybe. You have no idea, just came to me in the moment.
And it's set over Christmas for the one. Yep, Batman set over Christmas. Love it. So, Mass Effect Andromeda. Good segue, by the way. Mass Effect Andromeda. Are you looking forward to it?
Not really. I actually haven't gotten to inform myself about the game much. So you have to tell me about it.
I did do a video about Mass Effect Andromeda not too long ago. But basically, there is not much to know about it so far. We know it's set in a different galaxy, of course. It's set in the Andromeda galaxy. And it's not going to have Shepard or any of the Mass Effect characters. There's rumors that it'll have cameos from the Mass Effect trilogy, but we're not sure.
That's very interesting.
Aside from that, we don't know much. You'll be playing a human again. You can't choose your race.
Well, if it has that same option like the previous game where you can choose to play this as an action game instead of an RPG, I'm all up for it. I mean, this option was awesome to choose to play like an action because I'm going to mostly always choose that option.
Really? I remember when I first saw that, I'm just like, this is exactly what I did. I'm just like, oh, God. I played Mass Effect from number 1, which was a lot more RPG than Mass Effect 3.
Yeah, where that's the first game that I see that you actually have this option. You can choose what game we want to play, RPG or action. So that's super awesome option to have. You can always choose whatever you like, but it's there if you choose to play it the other way. So awesome for me.
So do you know what the actual difference is between the action and the RPG options in Mass Effect 3?
Yeah, as far as I can remember, because I've played like several hours at least, you just skip the conversations mostly.
So instead of you choosing what you're going to choose, so if you want to do a good option or a bad option, it just does an automatic, so you don't get to choose.
Yeah, you just see a cutscene like in an action game. You fight, you shoot somebody, then you see an action scene, and you go to the next fighting and all that gameplay, then another cutscene. So just like an action game.
So if you play something like The Witcher 3, would you prefer if there was no options?
Well, I don't know. I have to try it to be sure. I mean, in The Witcher 3 is kind of different because it's a setting that I'm more interested in. But when there's too much conversations, I mostly get like annoyed and start to losing track of the story sometimes. It all depends on how the game presented the stories. Maybe it's too interesting and I don't want to skip that, but yeah, maybe I'm going to try to play it like an action game, and if I prefer to have something more like of the, the control and all that, the choosing, if there's some kind of a different outcome, I could choose that. But then again, when I played The Witcher 3 and finished it, I got the worst ending from all. I chose the worst stuff without knowing it. Like when Siri wanted me to go to her friend's grave. Okay. It's not a spoiler. It's not that big of a spoiler. It's not that big a spoiler. It's just somebody died. It could be anyone. And she wanted to go to his grave, and I was like, "No, Siri, we have to go. Continue the mission." I was like annoying dad. He just doesn't want to hear what his daughter has to say. I was such an ass to her because I just wanted to finish the game faster. And I knew that if I said yes, we would go to that grave and we were going to sit there. And I didn't want that. So I was like, yeah, cut this, faster.
So would you ever play through The Witcher 3 again at a future date?
Maybe if it's all comes to like time and everything, because I really enjoyed the game. I totally loved it. I would love to come back to it, but time is lacking always.
All right, so we got some comments from Gongholo Media again. For Andromeda, I'm going to not look into it too much and be pleasantly surprised when I pick it up. I hope so too, because I feel like this might be the end of good EA games after Inquisition, to be honest.
Yeah, Inquisition. Oh yeah. You mean Dragon Age?
Yeah. Okay. Also, those Mass Effect 1 buddy achievements are bugged, and it pisses me off. Played 100% of the game so many times for them not to unlock. Well, that sucks. I've unlocked them all. Is it any character in particular you can't unlock? Because I know some of them are a bit harder to get. Awesome. Alright, so I do recommend eventually trying Mass Effect 1. It's definitely a really good game. Like, I remember when I first saw it on a shelf, I always ignored it because I'm just like, I don't know. I saw it's made by BioWare, and I liked what they did with the Star Wars games on the original Xbox, but I was like, it might be good, it might not be too good. But I went into the shop one day, it was $10. Mass Effect 2 had just come out. The game that I wanted to get wasn't there, so I just thought, you know what? It can't be too bad. So I picked it up, and I honestly continued playing it for the next day, non-stop. Played it all through for about 3 days, and I finished it, the first playthrough. And
wow.
I couldn't believe how good it was. Next day after I finished it, I went and picked up Mass Effect 2, and I just continued to play it. And I remember I got to the very last mission of Mass Effect 2, and I had to go to work, and I was just like, you know what? I've never done this before, and I probably never will again. I called up work and I said, "Hey, I'm sick. I can't come into work today." So I called in sick just so I can play the end of Mass Effect 2.
Oh my goodness.
Only game I've ever done that with.
At least you got away with it, right?
I did. Luckily, I called early enough.
Awesome. Well, you know what is because you brought up EA. I played the new, Star Wars beta, and I'm kind of upset that it doesn't have story missions. I mean, it doesn't have single player. It has some kind of generic missions like Wave 1, Wave 2, enemies coming. But for Star Wars, and to not have a single player campaign is very disappointing for me, especially for the price of the game. And they want like $50 for DLC. They're totally crazy only for multiplayer.
They like robbery.
Absolutely a robbery.
I love Star Wars, but I'm not going to buy Star Wars Battlefront. I refuse to buy it. I'm boycotting it, to be honest.
Yeah.
Battlefront 2 is better in every single way except for graphics, I'm going to say. But it's got story, it's got the Clone Wars, it's got more than 4 maps. It's going to be a real disappointment, and the game definitely needed another year in development, to be honest.
Yeah, maybe. And with every multiplayer game, as much as I enjoy multiplayer, it's always gets old after time. I mean, you get like tired of it. You want, at least I want, some kind of a progressive system, a single player to really love the game. And multiplayer has always been like something as a bonus to the game, which I can always go to and enjoy, but not the main thing, you know. So that's a lot of money for just something that I'm going to get sick of, like, pretty fast, I suppose.
I mean, I truly believe that every single game should have a single player component, because the multiplayer will never last. That's why I didn't buy Titanfall. That's why I didn't buy Destiny. These are games that I'm never going to play, and that's why I'm never going to play Battlefront.
Well, Destiny is different because you do have a single-player campaign, and you do have multiplayer to the side. So it's totally different because you do have a lot of missions, a ton of missions for the single player. You can play that with other players, like a co-op, but there are single-player missions. Set in kind of a multiplayer world, because sometimes you can see another player like passing by or something, and he can do that same mission with you and all that, but it's still a single player missions that go with the story. So it's different, and Star Wars is going to be just like Call of Duty multiplayer, shooting on different maps. That's all it is. So it's different, but I enjoyed what I played. I also played with one of my subscribers, the Space Junkie, on the PS4. It was super fun playing with him. I totally loved that. So yeah, but I really don't know how much time I could, enjoy something like this without getting bored and just wanted to move on to the next game without single player. So the graphics are amazing. The shooting is super great. And the weapons are good. Everything is screaming Star Wars. But it's just not enough,
Yeah. I mean, yeah, of course, it's a very good-looking game from what I've seen. But again, it's just not enough to get me to buy it.
Exactly.
So, here's a question. If there's any game you could get a sequel to that's not been announced, what would it be and why?
Can it not be a sequel particularly, but a game that was never created yet, exactly in that modern way?
And what's that?
I mean, instead of being a sequel, I can only think of a game that was not created yet, but it just has to be created. Like Superman game, for instance, instead of a Batman games. I mean, Rocksteady could make a Superman game. There's a rumor for that. And also, of course, a AAA Xena game.
I remember playing Xena on PlayStation 1, actually.
Yeah.
And you could throw the chakram and the camera would follow the chakram. I thought that was pretty fun.
Yeah, pretty unique for the times. I've played that with an emulator for the PC. I mean.
But as for a Superman game, we've had a couple Superman games, but they've never been good.
Yeah, I know. I've played the Xbox 360 one. It was pretty messed up.
Do you think that it is possible to make a good Superman game?
Yeah, of course. If Rocksteady do it, it's totally possible.
Because I personally think it is impossible to make a good Superman game.
Well, though, those are different times when these games came out, totally different times, and they just didn't know what they're doing. The same thing with the movie before Man of Steel. So now they have more like of an idea what people like, what a Superman and what a superhero game should be like. We have several of these, like the Batman games, the Infamous. It's also a superhero game. You can consider it that. So they have a pretty good idea now.
But in a Superman game, what sort of threats could you... Because you can't get hurt by gunfire, you can't get hurt by the normal person. What can you get hurt by?
Well, those villains that always use kryptonite, like Lex Luthor in a robot costume, Magneto... No, not Magneto. That other guy, the robot. I can't believe I forgot his name now. There's a guy with the kryptonite in his chest. Yeah, totally forgot.
Follow Media says the only way they can do it is if they make Superman less powerful with kryptonite so he's not as powerful. But who wants to play as a gimp Superman?
Yeah, who wants that? Exactly like in Smallville. If you watch that show, he was always so weak. So weak, and he always has to be saved by his friends. When he sees kryptonite, he's like shaking. And his cousin Kara, the Supergirl, she had to save him several times as well, and she could fly right from the first moment. But he's on Earth from since he was a baby, and he can't fly. It's totally ridiculous.
I personally would like to see a superhero game where you can play as someone who's stronger and who can fly, but I think Superman is way too overpowered to be a good playable character, as, again, you can't face normal henchmen, you can only face supervillains. Otherwise, everyone else would just die.
I'm sure they could think of some kind of a way, because, Superman is powerful, but that is what makes him, Superman. So downgrading him is going to suck big time. So I'm sure that they could think of something like Doomsday and like Shazam, maybe. So there's always something.
Sean says, this is funny, make it a game about Clark Kent herding cows on his farm and learning to become a journalist.
Oh no! No.
That would be fun. that would be completely out of the ordinary.
Nope. I want Superman. I don't want some stupid excuse for Superman.
He has to make it in time for work, so he has to fly.
Yeah, fly in an open world. Awesome. It has to be open world.
Oh yeah, open world. That's the thing. Like, how big should the open world be? Because we all know that Superman is faster than a flying bullet or something like that. So if you took the biggest map made in video games, which to this date is Just Cause 2, he can get from one side of the map to the other in a split second.
Yeah, that's a problem. Yeah, I know, but
make the Earth in a video game format, so you won't fly too far everywhere.
Yeah, all of a sudden you're like hitting an invisible wall.
Yeah, because that's again, this is sort of the problems that can be faced making a Superman game. I think that Superman is a bit too overpowered. It's basically imagine playing Arkham games on God mode and you can fly. Nothing can hurt you. You can defeat people in one punch and you can fly everywhere.
Yeah, awesome. Just a game for me. What? I have no problem.
DLC for an Arkham game. Just like, all right, we're gonna put Superman in the game. It's for free. Just fly around and beat people up.
Yeah, I'm sure that it looks that way from here, but I'm always like with an open mind that they're going to think of something that is going to make sense, and at the same time we're going to experience Superman's power. Yeah, just
all right.
very very talented developers.
Gong Hollow Media has got to take off, so he is going.
Okay, well, we have to finish anyway.
Yeah. I'll just get rid of these questions quickly. It says that a Daredevil game set sort of in the Arkham style would be pretty good.
Oh yeah, awesome. Yeah, definitely. All up for Daredevil game.
I think we've had a Daredevil game, but it wasn't too good.
I have no memory of that.
I swear I've seen it, but yeah, since I can't remember it, it must not have been very memorable. But yeah, that's pretty much, we've covered enough today.
Yeah, I think so. Assassin's Creed and all that.
Is there anything else you want to quickly cover before we get off here?
Well, fix that anatomy in games, eh?
So no more Sausage Link's arms and the Sausage Link fingers. They're a bit weird.
Yeah, and they should make like an avatar quality joints where you can see how the arm is connected to the body, and because it's very funny in like Until Dawn, you can see where somebody lifts their arms. It's like it's like mud. It's like something so unnatural there, like smudged textures and all that. And I'm like, where's the muscle? Where's the we have different structure there. It's not like that. It's too weird.
We'll see how far they can get now down to the end of this generation of video games. So it'll be interesting to see what they can do later on in the generation. I mean, remember what the beginning of 7th Gen looked like? Like near the beginning of Xbox 360, PlayStation 3 games, and how they looked like near the end. It'll be interesting to see what happens near the end of the life cycle of the 8th Gen consoles.
They look pretty good. I mean, like the last exclusive game for PS3 was I can't believe I forgot the name. That game with the supernatural story to it. Beyond Two Souls, yeah. That game looked amazing, and also The Last of Us. Those were the two games. The last two exclusives. Yeah.
All right, so I think that should call it a good Game Talk hangout today.
Yep.
I am SirWolfBane, and now, of course, was joined by Gary Gaming. Very thank you for coming on here and just talking some games.
Awesome, yeah. Thank you very much as well. I didn't hear what you said.
Do you wish to say goodbye to...
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, thank you very much, guys, for watching. We should definitely do this another time. It's awesome. Yeah, with another great topic. And yeah, thank you very much for joining us. I'm Gary G Gaming and Gary G Reviews. I mean Gary G from Gary G Gaming and Gary G Reviews. And yeah, till next time with SirWolfBane and me and I.
All right, and this is SirWolfBane signing out. See you later.